Oh, I'm so excited to welcome you to the official day one of 21 Days to Symptom Free. And thank you for joining me for the first official day. For those of you who were here yesterday, today is all about symptoms of IBS and symptom journaling. So today's topic is one that you will know all too well. Whether you have a confirmed irritable bowel syndrome diagnosis or not, the most common symptoms of IBS are bloating, abdominal pain, abdominal distension, that 8-month pregnant look, diarrhea or constipation or both, lower abdominal pain, excessive wind or flatulence, and a change in gut motility. So for some, movement in the bowels slows right down, and that causes constipation. And for others, movement speeds right up, so that results in diarrhea. And some people have the pleasure of a mixture of the two. IBS is also characterized by hyper or highly sensitive nerves in the intestine. So that means that a normal digestive response to food in someone with IBS can feel super exaggerated. The gut-brain axis, so that's a two-way communication system between your brain and your gut, also experiences mixed messaging in IBS. So that could be why you experience gut symptoms in response to something that seems completely unrelated, like stress, anxiety, or poor sleep. So not only do you have to deal with the symptoms of IBS, but the symptoms themselves impact your relationships, your work and career, your ability to travel and attend events, also impacting your mental health, causing fear of symptoms and when they'll happen and if you'll be able to make it to a bathroom or not, or if you'll have an accident. The bloating and distension can really cause body image issues and cause you to be self-conscious and impact your sexual relationships and how you feel in your own body, how you fit your clothes. So one of the best things that you can do, whether you have a diagnosis or not, is to keep track of food and symptoms in a journal. So this doesn't have to be fancy at all. It can be in the Notes app on your phone. It can be pen and paper, old school, just somewhere that you can keep track of the food you eat and the symptoms that you're experiencing. So some details that you're going to want to make note of are the time and date that you ate your meal or snack, and what you ate in approximate portion sizes. So you don't necessarily have to weigh or measure your food. You could use your fist as a reference. So for example, 1 fist of rice, or just the serving size that you had. So 1 slice of bread, for example. Note down any environmental details. So who are you with? Where are you? How are you feeling? So are you in a rush? Are you shoveling food in because you have to get to the next thing? Are you stressed out from a meeting that you just had at work, or looming deadlines? Are you nervous about an upcoming presentation? And write it down. Make sure that you have that in there, because that's very important information. IBS is so holistic. It really encompasses the entire body. Then make a note of any symptoms and when they start and finish approximately. So be sure to track gas and bloating, abdominal pain, your bowel movements, so when you have them and the consistency of them. And then track stressors during the day as well. So not necessarily just in response to meal times, but if you find that you're extra stressed that day in general, you can make a note of that as well, because some of those environmental stressors cause symptoms not immediately, but a delayed response. And that's same with the food as well. So making note of all of these details will really help you and your dietitian to suss out some patterns and maybe be able to find that root cause of the symptoms. If you're tech savvy and would rather have an app, there's definitely some apps that I can let you in on. So the Care app allows you to track all of the information we just talked about. And then the Care app, so CARE, it actually picks out those patterns for you. So if you log your symptoms and those details for a certain period of time, the Care app will give you suggestions on patterns. And the Monash FODMAP app has a diary feature, which also allows you to do very similar to the Care app, and has a sliding scale for your symptoms, abdominal pain, and lets you pick how many and the consistency of your bowel movements, etc. So, and the Monash FODMAP app, it's not a free app like the Care app, but it is very helpful. The diary is very helpful during the second phase of the low FODMAP diet, which is reintroduction. So that's usually when I suggest that if you need a little bit more help, that you invest in the app. So your action step for today is to start your very own food and symptom journal, however that looks to you. So you can get the app, you can put it in the notes section of your phone, you can get a notebook and just write it down, or a pad of paper, and try your very best to keep it going for 1 to 2 weeks. And you might be surprised at some of the patterns that you discover between certain foods, environments, or emotions and your symptoms. And it will definitely help with the diagnostic process, and it will also help your dietitian or your general practitioner be able to see those patterns and help get that accurate diagnosis, because there's a lot of misdiagnoses, unfortunately, that happens with IBS, because IBS shares a lot of those symptoms with other conditions. So, for example, someone who has small intestinal bowel overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, or it might share symptoms with someone who has PCOS or Crohn's colitis, celiac disease. So we really want to get to the root and make sure that we're getting an accurate diagnosis for going forward with next steps. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can see Sophia's on, so hi, Sophia. And if you need a little bit more, I do have a blog post on the foodfixrd.ca. If you would rather have it in written form, I have a little bit more detail on there. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 2 on all about diagnoses and a little TMI about bowel movements. And if you need anything, you can always send me a direct message or book a discovery call with me in my link in bio. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.